4 giveaways for this training. I'm going to drop them all in chat so that you can drop them again when I say, okay, drop that thing. So there's perfect practice member.
Okay.
Here's 3 types. This is a really important one, you guys. And then there was one more, discover sequence. Okay. All right. Okay, I think we're recording. We're good to go. So I have been in practice for 25 years and I've done so many different things for my visit one. And I've had people watch videos. I've memorized scripts and repeated it back to them and felt so inauthentic and hated every minute of it. I've done nothing at all. I've trained people on the safety pin cycle and why it's so important in chiropractic. I've had people repeat things back to me. Like I've tried everything. And truly, in my experience, I can never put my finger on who the people are who sign up for lifetime care versus who the people are who come in for 2 or 3 visits. Even if they say, yes, this is a forever thing. There's no rhyme or rhythm to it. I think it's just the cards that were set up before they had that experience with me. Sometimes I'll be like, I would bet my last chocolate bar that this person will be in my practice for the next 20 years. And then they'll leave 3 visits later. And then there will be somebody that I'll be like, there's no way. There's no way I'm their person. And then for some reason, they say yes to my care and they show up year after year after year. So, what I'm going to share with you today are the common factors. Remember when we were learning division and we would have to learn the common denominators? So these are the common denominators of what I've seen work really well in my private practice when it comes to the education, the joy, and the commitment of the first visit process without staff. So absolutely 100% if you have staff, they can do most of this for you or with you. But this is really going to speak to the practitioners who don't have staff, don't want staff. Or if you have your staff run everything, just give this to them and leave them be. Let them go do their thing if this is their jam. Okay. We talk a lot in the staffless practice world about making sure the right person is sitting on the right seat of the bus. So you can have the wrong person in the right seat, the right person in the right seat, or the right person in the wrong seat, all 3 of those combinations. And if you give this piece to somebody, make sure that they are the person that should be representing your practice to your new practice members. I had a call this morning with one of our staffless practice clients, and we were talking about assumption-based education, where from the first time the person sees my name, I'm I'm making the assumption for them that they will be my practice member forever. So and this is just a for example, don't mark my words on this. For example, in 10 years from now, when I'm adjusting you and you're bringing your grandchildren to me and you ask me why I did that thing. So I'm setting the stage. I'm making the assumption that they're going to be coming to me in 10 years from now. I want you to look at the journey of a practice member in your world from the first text to the first social media post to the first email to what's on your website to what's on Instagram. And I want you to see, are you making the assumption for them that you're their person? And if you're not, you might need to course correct. Okay. Many of us do. Many of us need to course correct. I even need to do this for myself when it comes to my private practice, the staffless practice community. I forget to do this part. So let's back up for a minute and let's talk about perfect practice member. I want you to remember, zoom out and remember the last time you went to a new practitioner. You were the patient. So go back to the last time you were a patient for the first time in a private practice and what it was like getting the email, the paperwork, being asked for money, the phone call reminder, the text reminder, What was it like to walk into the office for the first time? What was it like to be greeted if you were greeted or not greeted if you weren't? What was it like to put on an exam gown if that was part of it? What could have been different? What could have been more gentle? What should have had more pressure applied? How was the touch if they touched you? Were their hands clean? Did their hands smell good? Were their nails too long? Like these are all things that change the experience for people. I had a facial person, and I guess they call it an esthetician. And when you get a facial, the person who's doing it breathes. They're breathing right next to your face. And there are some people who I'm like, I would never want that person breathing right next to my face. And there are other people I really don't mind their energy. And this person who was doing my facials, I loved her energy and I didn't mind at all that her nose was like right here, right? And I could feel her breath. It's a very intimate experience. So, what was it like for you the last time you went in as a new patient or a new practice member? Was the spacing okay for you? Um, were their hands cold if they were touching you? Was the table comfortable? Was it clean? Did it smell fresh? I've been to chiropractors' offices and massage therapists. I could tell that they hadn't wiped their tables down in a couple of months. It's disgusting, right? I think that that has changed quite a bit since the pandemic. But those are the kinds of things that people base their experience on. And here's the catch 22. We never know which one of those things is going to be important to your practice members. So, if you take a minute and you look back on your last experience as a new practice member and you take into account all of the things I just said, all of the senses, taste, touch, sound, sight, smell, what was your experience like? And then you take those concepts and you place them to your perfect practice member. This is the person where if you're designing this, like James and I just had a meeting and he was talking about he's at a ski resort. He's right in town. He's the chiropractor. If they get hurt on the ski lift, they come to him. He'll only see them one or two times, right? But he's got this very clear image of who that person is, what their what their interests are, what annoys them, what does it for them, right? If we can set the stage and remember our last experience personally and set from there, you're going to win. I promise you, you're going to win. And you winning might look like, it might still look like you not being able to put your finger on who says yes to care forever and ever, amen. Because sometimes it's not predictable. You can certainly study the scripts and do the things and put the videos and do all of that and hopefully move the needle a little bit. But at the end of the day, everybody beats to their own drum, or they move to the beat of their own drum, whatever that saying is. So I want you to think about perfect practice member, and Sheena, you can drop that in the chat again, please. And that's an exercise in our world. It's a big, really important piece. If you join our world and you're in the Sweet Success program, it's the first thing we do. It's mandatory because you have to know who you're setting the stage for. Once you have that figured out, you want to zoom out again and you want to think taste, touch, sight, sound, smell. So Dr. Kent, one of our team coaches, I always think about him when it comes to sense of taste. And we have this course inside of Staffless Academy uh, on how to set the office up for your perfect practice member, like the physical space. And he keeps ginger chews in his office for his perfect practice member because his perfect practice member loves ginger chews, right? The spice, they're cool, they're hip, they're kind of a new thing, right? So ginger chews are a big thing in his world. There's always a bowl of them sitting on the desk. In my world, it's lollipops. I get the organic lollipops, and my kids know they're going to see Dr. Jody. They're going to get a lollipop. They don't get one, or they don't get two. They only get one per trip. So, is the sense of taste accounted for? Taste, touch, sound, sight, smell. Zoom out and double click on that. Okay, then we're going to go into the discovery sequence, and Sheena, you can drop that in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen on this one. So the goal of the discovery sequence that I'm about to go into is all about, I'm going to promise you as your chiropractor that these are the things you can come to expect from me. You can, and usually the promises are around time, energy, money. And what I'm saying to you guys is if you set this up now and you don't have staff, you are protecting yourself for years to come. Boundaries and agreements and honors, like honoring around time, energy, and money. So I promise you that I will do these things as your chiropractor. Will you promise me these things back? This is the discovery sequence. If I promise you that I'm going to run on time, this is time. I'm going to run on time. And if I'm not running on time, this is the action that I'll take. Will you promise me that you'll do this with time? Right? So I'll give you some of mine if you give me some of yours time, energy, money. I promise you that if you need me alone, if you need to have a conversation with me in private as your chiropractor, I will make that time for you, but it will look like this. It will be in these conditions, and I will charge this much money for it. Energy, time, energy, money. Sorry, money, right? If you promise me that you'll communicate with me if you need me. Here's another one. I promise you that my office will be clean and prepared for you. If you promise me that when you leave, you'll take your poopy diaper and you'll take your garbage and you'll throw your garbage away and you'll take your poopy diaper home with you. These are agreements around time, energy, money that I make with my practice members. And you guys, I don't make these agreements when I'm reacting. If somebody, I have a practice member and they still do it. The kid poops the diaper because I adjust a kid, they're going to poop. That's just what happens, right? The diaper gets loaded up. The mom's on her way to the bathroom and she's on her fourth kid. So I've seen this happen with three other kids. No matter what I say, no matter what policy is signed and agreed to, she still leaves her poopy diaper in my bathroom. Sometimes I make the decision to say, you know what, I'll call good enough, good enough. She's respectful and the other things, and some things are deal breakers for me. Some things I have to say, um, I know there are kids listening right now, so we have what we call on the Staffless practice team a no a-holes policy. Whether it's a client or a team member, if you act like an a-hole, you get a warning, and then we say we're not a fit, right? Whether it's a team member or a client. I have that in my practice too, but I have to decide what constitutes an a-hole, right? So I promise you, if you promise me, I promise you that if you send people my way, I'll celebrate and reward you in a way that's compliant with what I'm allowed to do in the state of New Jersey. If you promise me that you'll always have my card in your wallet, right? Like, so you set the bar for what you want. And if I say to people, I want to see you for a year, 3 times a week for 2 months, and then 2 times a week for 6 months, and then once a week for the rest of the year. I say to them, that's what I need to get from point A to point B with your spine. And then from point B to point C will be wellness care for the next year. If I say that with clarity, and I'm not saying that's what your care plan should be, please hear me say that. If I say what I just said to you with clarity and confidence, their response 98% of the time will be, okay, no problem. What's it cost? And if I say back to them with clarity and confidence, it's $70 a visit if you pay cash or check. It's 75 if you pay credit card. If you pay in full for your care plan, it's this much money. Okay, no problem. Here's my card. If I say stuff to them like, mm, it's $70 a visit, but ooh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Is that too much? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, is that okay? No, it's $70 a visit if you pay cash or check. It's 75 if you pay with credit card. You guys, if you need to rehearse this in the mirror over and over again or practice with your best friend or your spouse, please do it. Have clarity and confidence when you talk about time, energy, and money. So, going back to the promises, I promise you these things as your chiropractor, as your PT, as your OT, you fill in the blanks. And I'm going to ask in return that you promise me these things. Make promises with your practice members. If you can, take those promises, and if you're one of our Sweet Success clients, we're happy to do this for you, and put them on a really beautiful poster and say, here are the promises of our practice. We promise you da 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 da. And in exchange, we ask you to promise us da 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 da. Then, if somebody breaks the promise, if the boundary gets crossed, because it will affect you if you do not have staff, or if you're trying to make it so that your staff shows up only to do what they're awesome at, it will affect you if you have these boundaries crossed. It will affect you so much that you become miserable in practice. And I don't want that for you. You guys know that. You know what I'm saying is true, right? So if it's on the wall, it's on the wall, right? So you see the picture behind me, it says she designed a life that she loved. I have to make true, that's a promise I made to myself. And I have to make true to that promise every single day. If I'm on a call with a client or a practice member, because I talk to my practice members from here too, and I feel myself going poo poo all over one of those promises, I'm not respecting it. And that's why the picture is there, right? If you have your promises and your boundaries and your agreements on the wall in your office, and Sally leaves the poopy diaper in the trash can, and that's one of the things that you ask of her. It's you can say, Sally, look, my promises are right here, sister. I'm so sorry, but one of the promises that we don't leave poopy diapers in the trash can. Would you mind just taking it with you? I even gave you some baggies. You're blaming it on the poster, you guys. You're not blaming it on yourself. It's not coming from you. It's a practice policy. Because poopy is poopy, right, you guys? Poopy diapers are poopy. Okay, so that is the discovery sequence. And I even gave you guys some templates, like what you can use in Canva. But again, if you're one of our Sweet Success clients, let us do that for you. We love doing stuff like that for you. Okay, I'm going to go to the next thing. So that's the discovery. And we call it the discovery sequence because take some time and discover what do you want to ask of your practice members? Go back to that last first visit experience as a new patient that you had, whether it was you were going to a new dentist or a new chiropractor or whatever, what could have been better? If I think about the anesthetician that I was just talking about and getting my facial, when I walk in, all of the ladies there kind of look at you like you're in the wrong place or like you're bothering them, right? So that's one thing that I would want to have changed. So I'll take that experience and I'll look at my practice and I'll say, how can I avoid that experience for my new practice members without staff? Okay. And there are ways to do it. Another thing that happened at that specific place, I don't go to a lot of practitioners, so that's why I keep going back to this reference, is I come in, I'm super totally the Karen, you guys. Like I bring all my products and like I want the best price and I want the best person and I want them to make sure I have water and all the things, right? And I bring my own product because my skin is really sensitive. I leave it there and I say, you know what, Barb, whatever her name is, um, I'm going to ask you to keep my stuff here because I don't want to have to keep it in my car. I don't want to forget it if I'm coming in for a facial. I want you to have I use Evan Healy products. I want you to have all my Evan Healy products. They're gluten free. I have celiac. If you put gluten on my face, I'm going to get really sick. It's a whole thing. If I go in there, I want them to know where my stuff is. I don't want to have to wait for them to go find it. So that's another experience. Then I can take that and I can say, okay, if someone comes into my practice, do they know where the lollipops are? Do they know where the diapers are? Do they know where the water is? Do they know where the cups, the after school snacks? Do they know how to make a spritzer for essential oils? These are really important to my practice members because they make the experience. And I have to do it without staff. I don't have to, I choose to, right? So I want to make sure that the system is in place. Okay. So I wanted to talk about okay, three types of practice members. So Sheena, you can drop three types in the Zoom. Um, when somebody comes to my office for the first time, they don't know what to expect. They've never been to my office before. I can't forget that. I can't forget that this is their first time experiencing my office and that I get one shot. I get one shot at that first impression. So there are a few questions that really need to be asked. One of this, and this is all stuff that we go through with you guys in the new patient system in the staff in the Sweet Success program. One of the really important questions is to have them classify what kind of practice member they are. As soon as the conversation happens and the classification is dialed in and nailed, then I know how to speak to them in light of what their expectation is. So it sounds something like this. Sally, there are three types of people who come to see me. And before we do anything, before we get into your health history or we do an exam, I might even do this in the lead pilot visit, you guys, so that I know going into this visit what it is, who that person is. I'll say, Sally, three types of people come to see me. And these are my types. You have to figure out your types for your practice. First type of person has something going on, wants to get over it and be on their way. I'm going to say it again. I've said this so many times that I have it memorized. First type of person has something going on, wants to get over it and be on their way. That's my type one. They come in a few times a week for maybe a couple weeks, and then twice a week for maybe 6 weeks, and then once a week for a month or two. And then maybe they'll pop in, maybe not, maybe I never see them again, right? That's type one. Type two wants to get to the root cause of what's going on, of what they believe brought them to my office. I want to see them for 6 months. I want to see them a couple times a week and then maybe once a week. And then maybe we move to every other week after a few months. That's type two. After those 6 months, they'll probably be on some kind of a wellness regime. The third type of person is my favorite. They're the kind of person that wants to get through what's going on, but stay well for a lifetime. And we start maybe at a 2 or 3 times a week, then we go to once a week, then we go to every other week, and we take care a year at a time, Sally. I'm that person. I've been seeing my chiropractor for 33 years. Where are you coming in? Most of the time, I'm going to say 80% of the time, Sally says, I don't know. And and I'm going to teach you guys something, and this is a big deal, okay? If she says, I don't know, assume the first type of person for her. That's called going left in sales. Going left means, it's okay. I'm not going to give you the big schwa. I'm going to give you the little one, right? And maybe if you want the big one down the road, we can lean into that later. You're going left. You're saying, don't worry about it. I'll just give you the little thing for now. It's kind of like when I go and look at a new car and they walk me by the fanciest car in the window with the big red bow around it. And they're like, that's a really nice car, but let's go look at this simple one that's going left. So you can go left with your practice members by saying, I'm just going to start you in the first type of person, and we can always take it from there. You establish trust with me as your chiropractor, and hopefully we convert you to a number three. But we're going to start you with number one, Sally. How's that sound? So what I want you to do is take the exercise that I have here, the three types, and figure out for your practice, what are the three types of practice members you serve and what's the exchange on time, energy, money? How often are they coming to see you? What's the price range look like? And when do you want to first introduce that concept to them? I like you introducing that concept right up front so that then the entire new practice member journey is set. You know they're expecting only to be with you for a few months or 6 months or a year or whatever it is. Then it's not scary when you present a care plan to them for 6 months because that's what they told you that they wanted. They already have that seed planted, right? Can you guys imagine if you took these concepts of three types of perfect practice member, of the discovery sequence, and you applied it to your new practice member system or policy or the rituals around new practice members, and you have your agreements up on the wall? If Barb is doing all of your new patient intake for you, or John or whatever how easy their job is. If you don't have someone doing your new patient intake for you, how easy your job becomes. It's a game changer, you guys. It's a game changer. I'm going to talk about one more thing. So, when Staffless practice started getting really busy, and again, this all happened by accident. This was not my plan at all. I did not think I was going to be running a marketing agency in 2025 at all. But it just like one thing happened, and then this happened, and then that happened. And all the while, I'm still running my practice. I still have adjusting hours this afternoon, right? But everything needs to be streamlined. It needs to be clean. It needs to be clear, or I can't do all of it because I can only be in one place at a time. So I created this system to protect time, energy, money of me and my practice members because it became a necessity. Where if somebody says, yes, I want to check out Jody Dinnerman and Light Source Chiropractic and what her practice is all about, the place they start in my world is a 10-minute telehealth. And in that 10-minute, excuse me, I have to take a sip. In that 10-minute telehealth, I listen to them. I usually establish are they one, two, or three, and I either say yes or no to them. I say yes or no to them because I'm not for everybody. And if it's a yes, I put them on my schedule. If it's a no, I send them to who's going to take good care of them because I'm not everybody's chiropractor. That's called our lead pilot system. And every single part of the admin of that is automated. All of it. So that all I have to do is show up in my Zoom. I'm going to be doing this in an hour and a half from now. I'm showing up in my Zoom with a new practice member. She's already watched a video of me saying, hi, I'm your chiropractor. I hope so. We're going to find out. Let's spend 10 minutes together. She got a voicemail from me. She got a text message from me. She's probably gotten 2 emails from me. And all of that happens in an automated way. That way I'm not reacting. I'm not throwing noodles at the wall to see what's going to stick. I've got a system in place that I can lean on. I screw it up all the time. I do. I screw it up all the time. And every single time I do that, I'm able to be better for my practice. And then I'm able to show you, hey guys, watch out. You might screw this up. And here's what to do if you do. So, my poor practice members, like, I'm so Sally, I'm so sorry that I messed that up. It's a new system we're trying out for Staffless practice. But they're cool. They're patient with me because I'm a really good chiropractor. Okay, that's the new patient. Those are all the things I want you to think about when it comes to a new practice member in your world. How to make things clean and lean and streamlined as much as possible so that by the time they get to your office, they look around and they say, it's as if this place was made for me because it was. I'm going to stop recording. I'm going to take questions and go make the world better with great care if you're watching or